Hello, fresh listeners. Welcome to HowDoWeHuman. This is the podcast where we talk about all the weird and uncomfortable micro moments in life. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Binning.
And hello, Blue Apron. I'm one of your hosts, Evan Cox. Did I do it right?
You did. And today we're talking about meal kits. Those various companies where they send you the food to make a dish, and then you make that dish. But first, we're going to dish on something else, which is our lives. Evan, how you doing?
The meal kit of my life. Doing okay. I closed the blinds on the window behind me, but you can probably see it's quite bright.
I can.
Because everything is covered in snow. Up here in the mountains. We were supposed to get, at the same time LA was getting rain.
Our atmospheric river.
The atmospheric river.
Called.
We were supposed to have a snowstorm. It snowed a little bit, but then rained a shit ton. So our snow turned to rain. And it turned into gross slush.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a week. And now it snowed so much. It's at least 3 feet of snow.
Oh.
It's very soft, so you can't walk on top of it. So if you try to go anywhere, you're like up to your knees. Shoveling, that's a joke. I don't think that's gonna happen. I was supposed to go somewhere for work like 3 different times recently, and it's just like I can't. This is my first experience with when the snowplow's coming by, you get what they call a berm, which is
when they push all of the snow to block you
cover your driveway.
Yeah.
And it froze. It was like almost solid ice.
Nice.
So I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. I hacked away at it. I looked it up. Apparently you could pour like hot water with rubbing alcohol and dish soap, and that'll like help melt it. I didn't notice it do a goddamn thing.
Okay.
But I did it anyways. I'm stuck here for the most part. My car is currently half buried in snow. It's nuts. But before it got to this level, when it was just like 1.5 feet of snow, I was like, I'm still waiting for something at the post office. So, and as I've said before, the post office, real short walk, maybe a minute walk from my place. I was like, sounds kind of fun. I like the snow. I'll do a little walk in the snow. I got a hiking pole. So I brought that with me. I got my boots on, hiking pole down to the post office. And there's a few cars going by, but pretty sparse. Not a lot of people, I don't know, treading the snow. Yeah. Treading the snowboards. Radical. Hey. My hands do cool things. I am almost at the post office, and a truck stops. And I had my headphones in, but I see them talking to me, so I pop my headphones out, and I'm like, what's that? They're like, are you okay? Do you need help? I'm like, I'm just walking to the post office. And he goes, oh, ha! I'm like, have a good day. He drove off. Yeah, it was a big laugh for me going to the post office, but whatever, it tickled his fancy. It didn't occur to me till later. I think he thought I was blind because I had my hiking pole. I think he might have thought I was a blind man stuck in very, very deep snow. And that tickled him that I wasn't. And I was
so he laughed at you. And
he laughed at me, the stubborn idiot walking through too much snow to go to the post office. But that happened like, I don't know, three days ago, maybe, and it was just last night that it occurred to me, like, I wonder if he thought I was blind. That would make more sense. So yeah, snowblind out here. We're stuck, but enjoying ourselves. We got enough food, and we haven't lost power, knock on wood. Everyone else around here did, so hopefully we can keep that up.
Yeah.
As far as losing power goes, I feel myself losing power as I cede my power to you, the power of speech.
Yes. Yes.
He feels the power.
I'm getting more powerful.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. There had been so little going on in my life recently that I was like, in order for a story, I'm gonna need to go to the movie theater.
Damn.
And by that I mean my fiance knows that Sam Rockwell's my favorite actor, and she was like, "Do you want to go to the theater and see Argyle?"
Your contact photo in my phone is still Sam Rockwell from
Love that.
Jojo Rabbit, and I don't know that I fully ever. I think we talked about it on the episode or on an episode of this. I haven't reported back. It works. It's great. It's perfect. Sorry, your contact photos are not seen.
Yeah, I don't love that element of it,
but it's him in the glorious outfit at the end of the movie. He kind of redeems himself a little.
Anyway, so we go to see Argyle, which, before we get too deep into this story, I don't recommend.
The experience.
This is about the experience, which was also terrible. We get there, you gotta get your ticket scanned by that person at the front. And there's a couple in front of us when we walk in, and it's a guy and his date, or however far into that relationship they are, if they're just dating or if they're married or engaged or who knows. But
didn't look for a ring.
I did not. I instead listened to the guy get mad at the ticket scanner guy.
Dramas.
He was like, "Yeah, you guys canceled Oppenheimer, so we gotta see Argyle instead." And then, the woman's like, "Come on, don't be mean to him. It's not his fault."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, I'm not mad at him. Just the homie right here."
I hate this.
And so, he gives that employee a very awkward high five, brings him in for an even awkwarder bro hug.
No.
And then they go to the concession stand, which is where we're going. And you may have already put together that they're seeing the same movie I am, and they're here at the same time. So you may have figured out that they're going to be in my theater.
Damn.
Argyle? They go to the concession stand before they even are like called up to the cashier. The dude's already like, yeah, she's gonna have a water cup. And so a very obnoxious guy.
Alpha male.
Yeah, and he has clearly modeled his look after a pre-prison Andrew Tate, to be clear. Like that is his voice, that is his look.
No. Sounds like an action figure, pre-prison Andrew Tate.
They sit in the back row, and we're like, I don't know, 3 or 4 rows in front of them. And in the beginning, I really only hear them talk during one preview. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're obnoxious, but maybe they are respectful of other people. Mm-hmm. Like an idiot. And the only thing I hear is they play a trailer for Drive Away Dolls. I think it's Ethan Cohen. But Margaret Qualley and Geraldine Viswanathan go on like a road trip, and then Beanie Feldstein is a police officer, kind of like following them. And there's a line in the trailer where somebody tells Beanie Feldstein something, and she goes, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I'm a cop." And the woman in the couple was like, "Oh, they have no idea what it's like to be a police officer. Like, I mean, first of all, the context of that scene is that she's a cop who hears a lot of dumb stuff. Like, I think you've completely missed what that context was. But anyway,
speaking of dumb stuff,
yeah, that was like, you know, a little eye rolling, but still, I was like, it's also, that one's a little bit funny, you know, like very clueless person kind of way.
Yes.
But certainly once the movie has stopped, they won't be talking, you know, like an idiot. And
once the movie started? Or did you expect them once the movie stopped to not talk?
once the movie starts,
Okay.
maybe they'll stop talking. The movie starts, the woman immediately gets up and leaves, presumably to go to the bathroom.
Love it.
She
Great
comes
start.
back, you know, however long it took. A couple minutes, 5 minutes later, we'll say, she comes back.
It's your prerogative. Take all the
And
time
look,
you need.
they're in the last row, you know, the very back of the theater.
Okay.
A row that you would think is pretty easy to remember where you're at. She starts going into the row, I think, directly behind us. Or maybe she hasn't even decided on a row to go to. But, like, she's coming up the stairs. She's getting ready to turn into the wrong row. And pre-prison Andrew Tate is in the back, like, at full volume. Over here! Hey! Hey! Back here! So she's like, "Oh, yeah, sorry." Everybody's like, "What the fuck is this?" She makes her way back to her seat. Then they're like arguing about, like, I'm assuming about how she should have known what seat they were in. And eventually, you know, somebody else in the back row is like, "Can you please be quiet?" Like, everybody here's trying to watch the movie. And the girl at full volume goes, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Oh my god.
And the guy is like, "How about you mind your fucking business?"
Oh my god.
You know, they get shushed a couple more times, but, you know, basically they don't talk at full volume for most of the rest of the movie, but they're definitely whispering a little bit. And then the very end, you know, there's a surprise mid-credits scene, as I was telling you before we started recording. And it's a big reference to the Kingsman movies.
Ba-ba-ba.
I didn't know there was going to be a surprise, you know, mid-credits scene. Nobody really did. And so I'm behind them on the stairs, and everybody stops because now there's more movie. And so we're watching the thing, and she goes, "Oh, this Kingsman. And I've never seen those movies." And that guy goes, "Oh, those movies are awesome. Not this movie. This movie was ass." And then that scene ends, and now we're starting to move again. He's like, "Oh, I gotta piss. Oh, I gotta take such a big piss. Gotta piss that movie away."
Oh my god.
And so I guess, you know, I want to enforce to our listeners, like, don't get fooled. Every time a new movie comes out and the directors and the actors are like, "Oh my god, the theatrical experience is so important." No, it's not. AMC does not make movies better.
Yeah, that's intense. Because I mentioned I experienced a similar thing with when I saw Oppenheimer. It was everybody showing up late,
Yeah.
and scrambling around to find a seat. But, like, I get it, because I've been there. When you're a teenager, you go see a movie. Maybe you didn't think about it. Maybe you haven't been to. Maybe this is the first time you went to a movie without your parents, and you're like, "Ah, shit, I went to the bathroom, but didn't think of where am I seated." And I get elderly people doing it, because we're all
Sure.
going to start being more and more forgetful the older we get. But people around our age who have probably been to hundreds of movies,
Yeah.
how do you not clock where you're sitting? You
Yeah.
know it's going to be dark. You know you're going to get your eyes adjusted when you go into the bright, bright bathroom, and you're going to come back and you're not going to be able to see shit.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
Why can't
it was also
we
not
do
a
this?
full theater. Like, if it was full, maybe I could be like, oh, okay, maybe you don't remember exactly where you were. There's a smattering of people. I would say there are no more than 30 people in this big theater.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And not just to pinpoint what the woman did, like a misogynist. The man sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the major problem in this story. But hey, they both sound like they suck.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So
cool. So go see
goodness
Argyle.
They found each other.
I mean, there is some truth to that. Like, I know they're just going to be bad for everyone around them.
Yeah.
But at least they're not dating other people now. They'll probably be happy. They might be married already.
Yeah.
And just live in their own little shit bubble. And every now and then go see a Matthew Vaughn movie. A movie from the twisted mind of Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah, which is...
Was it twisted?
Okay, I'm glad you bring this up, because this was like a big part of the marketing campaign, was the twisted mind of Matthew Vaughn.
Yes.
And the movie itself, no, is not twisted.
Interesting.
However, after, I'm going to say the midpoint, it's like every other scene is a twist. And
is that what they meant?
That, I think, that's how they twisted that phrase. Okay. Is that it is constantly trying to like turn things on its head to a point where you just at the end are like dizzy. But no, the movie and the premise and stuff is not twisted. But there are an excessive amount of twists in the plot.
Okay. Well, as far as internet conversation and memes go, that press kit was a meal.
Oh, yes. Yum, yum,
How's
yum.
that? That was pretty good. I initially, when we talked about doing this episode, I called it a meal prep kits, which is what I've called them. And you brought up the good point, like, and prep cooking for like bulk. But I looked at it, it's like, it does seem like people do call them that. I don't know if it's enough to call the episode that, but I don't know what to believe anymore. I've always known them as meal prep kits, but we're talking Blue Apron, we're talking HelloFresh, and the rest.
And the rest.
Those poor rest. Caviar's delivery. What else is there? There's other ones.
There's Every Plate.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's a good one.
And there's like one other one, I think, but I can't.
Home Chef?
Yes, that's it.
There's one.
Those are the big
Factor.
The big four. Oh yeah, Factor as well.
Green Chef. Something called Tempo.
All right, I haven't heard of those last two.
And Eat Clean. These are the top. Those are in the top 10. I didn't list the ones we'd already mentioned.
Yeah, I feel like those big four are the main ones I've heard of. Although I've heard of Factor as well, probably more than Every Plate.
So as a base level.
Yeah.
And again, we started talking about this because you just started using some of these. You'd gotten some.
Yes, for Christmas, I received a free from HelloFresh 4 weeks of 3 meals a week, and the meals, for 2. A serving size for 2. So today at some point, week 3 will be delivered, probably in the middle of recording this podcast, because that's when the other 2 have been delivered. But that has been my only experience so far, but it has been something that I was eager to try for a long time.
Yeah. There's a barrier to entry, and that barrier is being gifted it because it's so fucking expensive.
And this kind of segues nicely in my eyes into on Instagram we ask for
Ooh,
people's different opinions and stories, and I
correct.
was asking if any of our listeners had any experiences with any of these
I'm
meal
sure they
kits.
have. I'm sure you
And Hand.Hartnett responded and said that she's never tried one,
have.
but something smells fishy about it. Don't trust them. I have no real reasons. Ha ha.
I
And
love that.
to me, I think that is part of why I never like broke that entry barrier. And
Yeah.
it's because when you try to search like what the cost is,
Yeah.
they're very like it's very hard to find their pricing points.
Yeah.
It is very um like up in the air as to what you could actually be
If
paying.
it's the same as well, yeah. I mean, yeah, don't let me go on a tangent too early, but like HelloFresh. So I've had I'd been gifted HelloFresh and did it very briefly after that because it's so fucking expensive. But the process of it is like, yeah, you go on the website, it doesn't tell you how much it is. You just say like sign up,
Yeah.
and then like you go through the whole process, which is an appealing process. What kind of meat do you like? Oh, I like steak. I love steak and salmon. Oh, I like this and this. Oh, this is fun. I'm taking a quiz. That'll be $1,000 a day. Yeah, it just hits you at the end, and you've already gone through this whole fucking process. I don't know. I'm strong, so I have it in me to cancel at that point. But not
Yeah.
everybody is that strong.
Yeah. I mean, I maybe now that I like, have the account because I received the gift, I can be able to check like how much a week after that free trial would be and then kind of decide,
Yeah,
because it has been like the food has been good. I like that was
it's all
something that I
very
wasn't
good.
sure how it would be, like if the food would just kind of be like, not the freshest ingredients and not taste particularly good, but everything we've
Lunch,
had has been
school
pretty
lunch
good.
quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, every meal I'd had was solid.
Yeah.
The biggest
Um
pro from it all was just getting recipes. You get those
yes.
recipe cards, and it's like, oh shit, I've never thought to make that before. So
Yeah,
there's
and we
pros.
are definitely saving those recipe cards in case like we decide not to continue, but we still want to make some of that stuff, because the
Yeah.
biggest draw for me was like they tell you, what your options are to order for that week. You pick, or for at least with the plan that we have, we pick 3 of them, but it's a nicer way to like get better ideas for different things you can be eating, because we were
Totally.
eating the same
Yeah.
meals like every single week,
It's easy to do.
and it's it gives a better variety of at least seemingly healthy options, fresh
Yeah.
options. You have the recipe and all of the ingredients in the exact right
Amounts.
portions. um and so that part of it has been really nice. um I was curious to find out if, because we've talked about cooking on this podcast before,
This is true.
and I've not been a particularly big cooker.
But
Um,
even at that point, you'd been ramping it up.
yeah. Um, and I mean, the food that we've been making this with these HelloFresh meals has been better than a lot of what I've tried to cook um, outside of this. But I just don't know if I love cooking. I
Yeah.
think is kind of the big lesson that I'm learning of like, and maybe because our apartment does not have a dishwasher, maybe if it
Yeah.
did, I would be more okay with this. But man, the dishes just pile up at the end, and it's like, fuck, I gotta clean all these.
This has become a real thing. Jocelyn and I are newly living together, where it's just like when I'm cooking, and I do love to cook. I use so many dishes. I use so many pots and pans, and I always try to clean up after myself. But yeah, we've got a very small sink.
Yeah.
It sucks. But yeah, the food quality has always been good. The awkwardness, if there is an awkwardness to these meal kits, is that like when they came out, everyone was talking about it. Like, you've got this is game changing. You don't have to go to the store ever again.
Yeah, but we love going to the store.
Who are you talking to? I go to the grocery store every day unless there's a icy berm blocking me in. And then I still think about doing a 20-some minute walk in 3-foot snow to go to the grocery store. I enjoy going to the grocery store like a weirdo. So that was always my holdout, was like, it feels like cheating at a certain point. But then once you do it, you're like, oh, it's not. It's just that I don't have to chop everything.
Yeah.
It all kind of comes at once. But there's something, I agree, Hand.Hartnett. Something feels off. But
Yeah.
I can't deny that the food and the recipe ideas are very good.
Yeah, I mean all the food has been good. I do agree that, like, I mean, you and I are both weirdos who like going into the grocery store.
Yes.
I think that is dying out among the younger generations.
Millennials are killing the grocery store industry.
Yeah. Like, we've talked about it before, but my fiance, like, refuses to go into a grocery store. She just wants to do the mobile pickup.
Oh, yes. I didn't remember that.
And it drives me nuts. I can't stand it. Like, we drove all the way here to make some employee come out and bring us stuff. And then it's like the awkwardness. Do they load it into the car? Do I load it into the car? I don't like it. Just let me go in there and not interact with a single person.
Yeah.
Go through self-checkout and leave. Like,
yeah.
I can't stand it. But anyway, I mean, it's just nice to not have to think about because she and I are only, with our work schedules, are really only able to eat dinner 3 nights out of the week together. And so we get those 3 meals, and now we don't have to think about what should I get at the store for us to eat. With that part's already been figured out. And then I still go to the store for the rest of the meals and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it is awkward because I know in a couple weeks here I'm gonna have to really look at the pricing and decide if it's still worth. Is it worth me having good food every week?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
The tough thing with the pricing is like when I haven't. So I was gifted HelloFresh years ago, and I mean, I guess all of this is years ago. So I will say long ago, more than 5 years ago. And then Jocelyn's mom she had extra Blue Apron. Like, they had a whatever you call it, the order for you're getting so many things per week, and so they would just share them with us. So I used Blue Apron through that time. And once we get they weren't going to just share their Blue Apron with us forever. At a certain point, they stopped doing that. But like with the HelloFresh, once you reach the end of that and you do look at how much it costs, and you're looking at like, oh God, dude, I feel like I need to go through the process to see how much it costs because I don't remember. But basically, what I think we've all noticed as people who go to the grocery store a lot is everything's getting more expensive. Yes. So it was always the other side of my, like, I don't want to do this, is I can save so much money just going to the store, buying meat, I buy rice. I've got that in bulk, so whatever. I can always do some rice or some potatoes and then a veggie, and you can spend like $10 and have a nice dinner. That's not true anymore.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm going to make dinner, I'm spending like $30 to $50
Yeah.
because people are greedy. And I need to it makes me feel like I need to look back at it like, is that actually a good deal now, or have they also jacked up their prices? Because I feel like that's about what it ended up
Yeah.
being, was costing about
Yeah.
that much. So I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that would be interesting to see. Maybe we'll do a little
'Cause-
follow up here in a couple weeks when I have to
yeah.
decide what I'm gonna do. But yeah, it is getting much more expensive at the grocery store to a frustrating degree. Um, and it's also doesn't seem to be much of a concern for anybody to do anything about.
No, except the Washington Attorney General and
Hmm.
cans of tuna. Uh, I tried looking it up really quick, but it just brought me to something that that sparked something in my memory. HelloFresh, it's all offers. Here's your offer. Get an offer. There's not even an option. You can either log in or get an
Hmm.
offer. Those are your only two options here.
Yeah.
And the offer right now is 18 free meals and free breakfast for life. And I do
Yeah,
kind of
I've
need
seen
to
that
know
offer
what that
too.
means.
Yeah.
Because I'd been in the past, they probably just don't send them to me anymore because I moved and I didn't alert HelloFresh that I had moved. But they were sending these cards like every week. That was
Yes.
like, I want to say 5 free months. And you go like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I'll take them up on that. And you go to it. And it's like, it's all bullshit. It's like
Yes.
you get 5 months of like one meal a week for one person, and you don't get to choose what they are, or some shit like that. Like, I mean, it is at a certain point, but it's not free because you have to sign up for a
Yeah.
thing. So it's just, it takes that money off, but you have to sign up for like a year. So it's
Hmm.
like you still have to pay like $500, but
Yeah.
you're getting free stuff. So I would assume the breakfast, which I'd never known them to do breakfast, I assume that's the same. It's just you're not being charged for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, probably.
Or they're just adding it to the price at cost. And you're not being charged inflation for it.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier about like when these companies first came out.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about like the advertising of these different things because
Oh
this
no, yes.
also kind of like ties into your to them sending you these offers and stuff.
Yeah.
But like it's and I don't know if this is them um like rejecting the traditional advertising revenues because I've seen Home Chef like advertise on TV,
Okay.
but I feel like all of the rest of them are exclusively like podcast ads
A
or
lot of
like
that.
YouTube content creator ads.
Oh,
Which
interesting.
I don't know what that is, but there are like certain companies that are just like exclusive to like
Yeah.
online creators and podcasts,
It's
and I don't
mattresses,
understand.
meal
Yeah,
kits, supplements,
me undies.
me undies, Sherry's berries for some
Yeah,
people.
Squarespace. Although
Oh yeah.
Squarespace advertise on TV, but
But so correct me if I'm wrong, because this might. Or no, I think this is not. I think I'm mixing up delivery services
okay.
with HelloFresh because I was thinking, I think it's Uber Eats, maybe. One of those delivery companies has awful commercials and I hate them. And I was going to go on a rant about it. You're all going to miss out on that because it's not what we're here to talk about. You are correct. And that is interesting for how big those companies are. That Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're wrong. I don't have cable, but I watch football. Don't
It's
ask
true.
how.
I don't really watch much cable either.
So I see commercials watching sports, but yeah, I can't think of any. It makes you wonder. Because
Yeah, I mean, I
some.
think it just like all of this kind of ties back into Han Hartnett's thing of like it is
What's
hard
going
to
on?
trust some of these uh things because they are kind of fishy.
Yeah, especially if you order the
Uh
fish.
yeah, absolutely. But
So
yeah,
stupid.
it's it is like I understand the deceitful
Yeah.
um uh thoughts around it. Um and maybe, they've just suckered me in. I don't know. I don't
We'll
know.
see. You'll react. You'll have an honest reaction when you see what they don't want everyone to see, apparently. How
Yeah.
much it's going to cost. And I
Yeah.
think the number one thing that I keep coming up on is they tell you it'll cost something, and then at the last second they tell you that's for one meal a week.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
that's too much money. There are more days in a week than that. Uh, I don't know.
What commercial drives you nuts, Evan?
I
Is
hate
it
it.
when all you can burgers is think about? Is that
That's
the
up there.
Okay.
That's a good frustrating commercial. No, I'm thinking of the one. It's they don't air it anymore. I think it's Uber Eats, and it's Mark Hamill and Patrick
Oh, ye
Stewart.
Uh-huh.
I hated
Yes.
that commercial so much. It didn't make sense, and it wasn't funny. I didn't get it. What is this? Are
Yeah,
you
let me
pulling it
I
up? Are
don't
we gonna have to
I'm
watch
pulling it
it?
up because I'm not sure what I associate them with, but I know that commercial. But like this is,
It's just
a
sort of
huge problem with advertising is like neither one of us can remember for sure
what
what
it
that
was. I'm pretty
it
sure it's
was
Uber
Uber
Eats.
Eats.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite type of like cliche joke. That thing was where that ends, which, they're like about to fight. And it's like, I'll do this, I'll do this. And then Mark Hamill says something that's like, doesn't really make sense. It's just like, I'll be your daddy. Something along those lines, like Star Wars related, your
Yeah.
father. And Patrick Stewart's like, what are you talking about? And that's supposed to be the big laugh at the end. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate when the joke is just, that doesn't even make
What?
sense.
Yeah.
But they played that all the fucking time during football games
Yeah.
because they want you ordering food for the big game.
Yeah. What this will come out after the big game, of course, but
True.
a little bit related. What is your go-to big game meal?
Big game meal. If we're going big game,
Yeah.
I go big game hunting. I'm talking elephants.
Yep.
No. I am hardcore all about 100%. When not possible, nachos, great time. Just some
Yeah.
over the top nachos, a 7-layer dip, wings all day. Wings is number one for me. If I can get some hot wings and some beer, I'm a happy camper. But we'll see if I can get out of the house by
Right.
Sunday.
That's true.
Probably
Yeah.
not.
What of what you have available,
Yeah,
what could end up being your
it's
big
a great
game meal?
question. We've got a lot of stuff in the freezer right now, but we've eaten a lot of it. So I can't remember what's left. But we do have some thin steak we're going to cook and chop up into some salads. So maybe steak salads
Okay.
in a
Nice.
super big bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You mentioned recipe cards. I will say those, hey, you from the future, keep those nice and organized. Keep them put away. Keep them in a spot. Those things got all over my apartment. We would keep them, and they would just be everywhere, and you try to remember, what was the one? And you can't find it. And I ended up throwing them all away. I did find at a certain point, if you are a member or whatever, if you're currently signed up for it, you can see those recipes on the website. So that's handy.
Yeah. Yes.
Space saving. The other thing I did want to mention really quickly, HelloFresh, they send your shit. The way they keep these things cool, it's new stuff. You get a bag full of goo.
Yes.
Is that still what they're doing?
They do still send the bag of goo, and the bag of goo has... I hate the bag of goo as well. The bag of goo comes with special instructions, which is the worst part of the bag of goo.
It is.
If the bag of goo was,
the ooze,
just in there and it kept things cool,
great,
fine. But no, they package these meals in little brown bags, and then they put those little brown bags in a cardboard box. But at the bottom of that cardboard box is a big bag of goo, essentially.
Cold
but that goo is like, you think that goo is ice.
Yes.
But it's not ice, it's goo.
Mm-mm.
And the instructions on that bag of goo are to empty the bag of goo into the trash or something. It's get rid of the goo.
Get rid of it! Don't keep the goo in your house!
And then take this special plastic that we put the goo in to one of our recycling centers. And then, you look up where the centers are so that you can go recycle this plastic at. And go out of your way to drive one piece of plastic to this recycling center.
Yeah, I hate the goo.
Yeah.
I get, people burn themselves on dry ice and shit like that, but it was always fun to open something with dry ice, and it's like,
yeah,
that's better. That's better. Don't make me throw away goo. I forget, does it ship frozen, the goo? It's a solid?
I think so. It's been solid.
That's what I remember. So, you have to wait for it to melt or run it over warm water or run warm water over it. It sucks. This is bad.
It sucks.
It sucks. You know what they should do? And this is more work, but I'd rather do it. Say, ship us back the goo. Then they can reuse the goo. Yeah. I would rather just take it to a UPS store.
Yeah, reuse the goo is a good slogan.
Reuse the goo. HowDoWeHuman. Reuse the goo. Good shit.
Yeah, I maybe I shouldn't say this on mic, but I just throw away the whole thing. Just the whole thing goes in the trash.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, so I left the first time we got it. I left it out on the counter, still in the cardboard box. But I was like, when it'll melt or whatever, then we'll be able to get rid of it. But then when I came home, the whole thing was gone, and so I think my fiance just threw it all away. And I was like, you know what? That's fair.
Yeah,
I don't even know where the closest recycling for that plastic would even be for me.
No,
can't imagine it'd be close. But
no. I think that's, and again, this does come down to I enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
And I did have the experience when you're doing it. It's like, no, I'm still cooking. There are things to chop and you're stirring. You do have to do it right for it to taste good. You can fuck it up. So that's nice. But then, when you just add it up, and if it is still more expensive than going to the grocery store, which I think it's 300% more expensive than going to the grocery store, getting it, even though I like cooking, you still have to cook. you get this big bag of ooze you gotta deal with. And then you've also you get all this cardboard, you're getting shipments or whatever all the fucking time. I don't know. It doesn't feel worth it to me, even though I love cooking. The fact, like, if I want to save a step, which we do, I'll get delivery. And we'll just do that once a week if neither of us really wants to cook. I don't know. At a certain point, it's not doing anything for me except giving me recipe ideas.
Do you remember what the best or your favorite meal that you received from either Blue Apron or HelloFresh? I'm an immediate yes.
100%. Absolutely.
Didn't have to think about it at all.
No, there was one before, which was a HelloFresh one. It was a pasta. I've already forgotten about that pasta. Get it out of here.
Okay.
Blue Apron. They sent steaks, already good. Yeah. But it's like, steak is very dependent on how you cook it and how you like your steak. Yes. I'm okay at cooking steaks. I'm no expert. But this steak, the idea was it comes with a cream sauce. And I'm like,
sure.
I don't know about that. I've never had a cream sauce on a steak. I like steak sauce, A1 sauce, or the, what do you call the green with the parsley and all that? There's a name for that. This was the best steak I'd ever had in my life. And I don't think it was because... That's not true. I'm over-exaggerating. This was one of the better steaks, though. As far as what I've cooked, this is the best steak I've ever cooked, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
It. Yeah.
Incredible. It was so fucking good. I don't have that recipe card anymore, but I should try to look it up and
try to find
make that again. It was so good. And it's like you made the sauce yourself, and it was like part mayonnaise and stuff like that. So where you're going like, this can't be good. This can't be right.
Yeah.
But oh man, amazing. Yourself? I'm gonna see if I can find that recipe.
The one that I have liked the best so far was, let me pull up the name of it real quick. But the one that I liked the best was sticky spicy chicken and sesame rice bowls with mushrooms and carrots.
That sounds awesome.
And then I'll shout out my fiance's favorite was creamy dill chicken fillet with couscous and green beans.
That sounds good too.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting hungry now.
I know. Another thing that I had heard was, the way to really make the most of these meal kit services was use the free trial or the gift or whatever from one of them. Then as soon as it's done, hop to the next one and just keep hopping around. My question for you, having tried two different ones, which one did you feel was better? Either in terms of food quality or variety of recipes or what?
This was long.
However you want to answer.
This was long enough ago. I want to answer it. This was long enough ago. I don't remember specifics, but I do remember that I did prefer Blue Apron, and but it was neck and neck. They're both very good. I think it was the food, just better recipes. I thought Blue Apron's, which I just looked it up to try to find that and remembered it's like, every week you have different options. So it's not always like you can order the same thing over and over again, which maybe I would sometimes like.
Yeah.
I just remember barely leaning that way, but HelloFresh fighting hard with these deals. You got to get free breakfast for life. That's hard to pass up.
It is.
You mentioned earlier portions being good, which was not always my experience. And Blue Apron also guilty of this, particularly with fish, which we love fish. When they sent
Okay.
fish, their idea of a portion of fish for one person's a fucking joke.
Okay, I
It's
have not had any fish yet.
like maybe 3/4 the size of my phone.
Oh
I'm
wow.
just like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah.
That's not a
No,
meal.
we are
I was
also
not
a big
prepped.
fish household, but we have not ordered
Yeah,
fish
get ready.
yet. And I think that part of it is some of the fish dishes that are available are like, even though we're on a free trial, you would have to pay more
Oh, yeah.
to do the fish.
Which I assume is why the portions are smaller, because it's expensive.
Probably.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't enough food. Like, we made that meal. It was portioned for two. It was like salmon, mashed potatoes, and Brussels sprouts or some veggie.
Yeah.
And we had to make more food. We were still hungry. So that hurts more, especially if you do have to pay a premium for fish.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. The awkwardness, I'd say, is the fact that people love these things and swear by these things, and I feel like a douche when they recommend them to me, and I'm like, I tried them, but I prefer going to the store and doing all my own work, and I don't really know. I don't. There's no good reason to, but they sure are fucking expensive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make
I mean,
a
I do
last-ditch
agree
effort
with
to
that.
find.
But yeah, we'll do a quick follow up here in probably like 2 episodes from now
Probably.
to see what if I can get any inside information on what what that pricing is like. But I mean, as far as the food itself, I definitely would recommend that. It is like if it's gifted to you, take advantage, baby.
100%.
That's what I think we've
Do not
learned.
hesitate to try any of these. They're all great as far. I mean, again, I've just tried the two, but they were both
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah. I do think that every plate has like there's a special discount that my company like offers. They have some
Ooh.
sort of contract, I think, with them. So I may end up trying them in the future as well. But yeah, we shall see. More on meal kits to come.
Yeah.
And the way to find out what those updates are is to listen to these episodes. You can find them on Spotify, on Amazon Music,
Yeah.
Apple Podcasts, right? I don't know why I can't
That is what it's called.
remember it right now. Pocket Casts, HowDoWeHuman.com, anywhere that you get your podcast. New episodes every single Monday. You can rate, review, comment, subscribe, all those
Please.
wonderful
We
things.
love it.
Please get us out there. Maybe if we get big enough, we can be sponsored by these meal kit services and pass
Hey.
the savings on to you.
We'd love that.
You can also check us out on our social media. You can find us on Instagram at HowDoWeHuman,
We got that handle.
Facebook at HowDoWeHuman,
I don't think you're ready for that handle.
YouTube at HowDoWeHuman.
Never handle moment.
Interesting.
Almost.
You can send us an email to howdowehumanpod@gmail.com.
The best part of that handle is that it's an address.
Ooh, I like it.
I was looking it up real quick. We did get a comment on our YouTube channel from our last episode, Rodents and Rain. Check it out.
Oh.
From the very same hand.heartnet.
Oh yeah.
Did you see this?
I did. I believe I responded to it. Maybe it didn't take, but I responded on my own YouTube channel.
Maybe it didn't take.
Well, I had an issue with hitting reply on that comment because it said, "Oh, it didn't. Sorry, we couldn't do that. Try again."
I'd have to look. All it says, the new bald look is good, Chris. So
Thank
you did it. Couple of bald boys.
Couple of bald boys about to do some trivia. This is how we've started ending our episodes. A little 5-question deal. Currently, We've, played 2 games of this. Evan has won 1. I have won 1. And our points total
Yes.
is currently that I have 8 points and Evan has 7 points.
Gotta
so
rhyme.
We shall see what happens today. The first question: what is a burgee? Is it a flag, a window, a type of food, or a rope?
I'm at a complete loss.
Me too.
I feel like a type of food is throwing you off because it looks like a burger. But because it is so close to a burger, it also feels very likely it could be food. I don't know what to believe.
To also throw in a little wrench here, it also looks like bungee, which I would say is a type of rope.
True.
I don't know what it is, but I'm between a flag and a type of food, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why flag is jumping out at me.
And weirdly, I am between a window and a type of food.
Okay.
We gotta land somewhere. I'm going with a type of food.
That's where I'm going to.
Oh boy, we did it.
And I think it is because it looks so close to burger that I am stuck there.
Let's go.
But here we go. A type of food. It was a flag.
It was a flag.
All right.
Do you want to? We used to. Do you want to pass these back and forth, or do you?
Yeah, we can pass them back and forth. Go ahead, Evan.
Which of the following countries drinks the most coffee per person? Do you regret this? Is the other question. Which of the following countries drinks the most coffee per person? Finland, Italy, Colombia, or Canada?
I feel like I've heard this before.
Now, this is tough.
However, I don't remember what the answer is. I'm between 2 countries.
Well, Italy, very well known for their love of espresso.
Yes.
Colombia, known for the coffee bean itself.
Yes.
Both significantly smaller than Canada. Oh, most coffee per person. So size doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Coffee per person. God, it feels like an obvious answer, but I got to say Italy.
Yeah, Italy and Colombia are the 2 that I am between as well. And I think that Colombia is there to persuade us to choose it, which is why I'm also going Italy. So we're going to be stuck with the same answer.
I can never climb this mountain.
Finland.
I had that feeling because that was the one that seemed like it's definitely not Finland. Like, that's why they're asking.
What was the original name of Mickey Mouse? Mortimer Mouse, the Rat, Marshall Mouse, or Marvin Mouse? I believe I know this.
The answer. Oh,
okay.
Scary. Mortimer Mouse is my answer.
That is also my answer, and this is the most confident I've been in this particular round.
It's been a tough one.
All right.
I wish he was named the Rat.
I do too.
How is the Earth protected from the effects of solar winds from the sun? Magnetic field, ozone, oxygen, or gravity?
Man, I'm going to say ozone.
I am too. We're just going to answer all the same.
I think it's just... Yeah, I wish that we had different answers. We were both wrong anyway.
It's my second guess again. God damn it. All right, one of us has to get this.
All right, and I think I know this one.
Oh, no.
Okay. All species of lemurs are native to which island country?
Damn it.
Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Madagascar, or Australia?
And was there not a movie called Madagascar with a bunch of lemurs?
Yes, and they loved to move it.
Damn it. Which makes it seem like that has to be, but it doesn't have to be. This is just what they're native to. Doesn't mean they can't have moved to Madagascar, but I don't want to get clever, but I hate if we're going to answer the same for every question.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I am going to answer Madagascar. shake it up if you'd like. Go with your second guess, since our second guesses have been right.
I know,
on
that's
almost
the
every
other
question.
thing. But I don't know. This is where I suck at competitive games, because I'm a competitive person, but I'm also not the person that's like, I'm just going to answer the same so you can't get ahead. It feels like the answer is Madagascar, but my second guess is Sri Lanka. And I'm going with it. I'm going to let you go ahead too if I'm wrong. Yes, Sri Lanka it is.
I'm going to click Madagascar.
Damn
and
it.
that is correct.
I knew it.
All right, that was a rough one for us.
That was
for sure. That was not our strongest outing.
Didn't I get 4 of 5 last time, or did I get all of them?
You got all 5
last
time. Yeah,
I got 1 correct. To be fair,
yeah.
I would have gotten 2 correct if I didn't outsmart myself. I thought Madagascar was the answer. All right. Well, it's thrilling. You go up another one. You're up 2 on me now.
Yeah.
I did have the thought, which we don't need to talk more about meal prep kits, except that I'm going to force us to real quick to wrap this up. But the thing we also need when you come back with your decision, the information, etc., is that decision of how many meals per week.
Yeah.
And if price is aside, that was my other thing, is like, if I'm paying the amount I would like to pay, I'm getting like 2 meals a week. But if I'm getting 2 meals a week, that means I'm still going to the grocery store.
Sure.
So what's the fucking point? And when I go to the grocery store, I turn around to all my loved ones, my family.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, hey, everybody, gather around. I'm going to the store. I will be back. But for now, bye!
Bye.